You were born not in a country, but on the edge of one. Logs pressed down on the ceiling. The ground is cold. The date is February 12th, 1809. The place? Hodgenville, Hardin County. They give you a simple name. No promises attached. Your father, Thomas, knows how to work with his hands and how to lose land in court. The ground slips away before you learn how to walk. Your mother, Nancy, is quiet. She knows people die early here. Around you, the frontier. Not a line, a condition. The forest presses in from all sides. Law is weaker than an axe. Slavery is nearby, but not yet inside your cabin. It's in the air, like smoke from a fire. In 1811, you already see adults arguing over boundary markers. In 1816, the family crosses the Ohio River into Indiana, not because of hope, because of loss. In 1818, death arrives. Nancy collapses. They say milk sickness. They say it quietly. Here, they always speak quietly about that. You don't remember words. You remember pauses. An empty chair at the table. Work from sunrise. Literacy is rare, like salt. The starting conditions are simple. You have a body, you have hunger, and you have time already working against you. You grow up without instructions. No one teaches here, they test. The forest is your first school. The axe, your first exam. You grow tall too early, awkward. Your arms are long like they belong to someone else. Your body consumes more food than the family can afford. You work to justify your height. In 1819, a stepmother appears, Sarah Bush Johnston. She doesn't bring warmth, she brings order. Books aren't thrown away. Time spent reading isn't called laziness. You learn to read in bursts. A few weeks here, a few days there. School is an accident, not a system. The law exists as a rumor. In 1820, Indiana becomes a U.S. state. Nothing changes inside the cabin. The frontier just gets stamped. You read everything. The Bible, Aesop, biographies where people die slowly, but with meaning. You're not looking for morals, you're looking for an exit. In 1828, you go down the Mississippi. Rafts, cargo, foreign ports. New Orleans hurts your eyes. Markets, shouting, chains. Slavery is no longer background. It's an object. It can be bought. You watch. You remember. You don't protest. Not yet. You return upriver different. Not smarter, heavier. By 1830, the family moves again to Illinois. You already know the rule. If a place won't hold you, leave first. Adaptation complete. You've learned the main thing. To survive, you must be useful even where you weren't invited. You stop being just a body. You start collecting functions, each one in case the previous fails. You split wood. You plow. You move freight. Muscle is currency. For now, it's accepted everywhere. But it's not enough. You notice that words sometimes work better than force. You tell stories. Dry. Precise. People listen because their lives are boring. In 1831, you go back to the river. Rafts again. New Orleans again. At the slave market, you don't just look anymore, you record. Memory becomes a tool. You return and try trade. A store in New Salem. It fails. The debts stay. You don't run. That matters here. You become a postmaster. Letters pass through your hands. You read the news before everyone else. Information becomes another tool. In 1832 comes war with native tribes, the Black Hawk War. You're elected captain of the militia. No battles, but elections. They choose you. For the first time, not out of need, but trust. You take up law books, alone, at night. The law is no longer a rumor. It becomes a weapon. It doesn't smell like blood, but it breaks just as well. Now you have a set: strength, memory, words, law. You don't yet know where you'll use them, but you're ready. You don't enter through the front door. You come in from the side, where it smells like paper and sweat. In 1834, you're elected to the Illinois legislature. Whig Party, not ideology, a platform. You understand, a system isn't belief, it's a route. You move to Springfield. The city isn't a capital yet. It's learning how to matter. You learn with it. You speak rarely. When you do, people listen. Not because of charisma, because of clarity. In 1837, the state capital officially moves to Springfield. You voted for it. Not for the city, for the knot of influence now closer to you. You receive your law license in 1836. No school, no mentor. The law is now your craft. That same year, you sign a protest against slavery in the state legislature, carefully, without hysteria, against the institution, for the Constitution. You're already thinking like someone inside the machine. The system tests your loyalty. You answer with usefulness. Roads, canals, banks. You support development because development demands management. You're no longer an observer. You're a bolt. And if you break, it'll be under load. You stop growing. You hit the ceiling of the era and push it with your forehead. In 1854, the Kansas-Nebraska Act passes. Slavery becomes negotiable again. You return to politics not from ambition, from irritation. In 1858, you face Stephen Douglas, debates across Illinois, crowds, dust, questions without right answers. You talk about a house divided. The phrase sticks to people like mud to boots. You lose the Senate race. Formally. In reality, the whole country hears you. In 1860, you go to New York. The Cooper Union speech. No shouting, no threats. You just line up facts in a way no one can turn away from. May 1860, Chicago, the Republican Convention. You're the compromise that turns out to be the center. They nominate you not for radicalism, for manageability in chaos. November 1860, the election. The South votes against you without even putting your name on the ballot. You win without their consent. The peak doesn't feel like triumph. It feels like silence before an explosion. You stand at the top and see not the horizon, but cracks. Now, every move is a signal, every word a spark. The price arrives immediately. No installments. April 1861. Fort Sumter. The guns speak before you do. The country tears, not at the seams, but through living tissue. You become commander-in-chief without illusions. The army is raw. The general's cautious to the point of cowardice. Every appointment is a risk. Every dismissal an admission of error. You sign orders and read casualty lists. You don't remember names. Numbers, yes. War teaches arithmetic fast. In 1862, you issue the Emancipation Proclamation, formally a military measure, in reality, a point of no return. You know, victory won't let you go back. The cabinet argues, the newspapers cut, the generals ask for time. There is no time. It's working against you. You lose your son, Willie. 1862. The White House becomes a house without sound. Personal cost doesn't go into orders, but it sits on every signature. You save the Union by losing people. You free some by alienating others. Every correct decision shrinks the circle of hands still willing to shake yours. The price isn't what you do. The price is that after it, you can't be anyone else. An era doesn't break all at once. First it creaks, then it cracks, then it collapses onto your shoulders.
Pennsylvania, Gettysburg. You speak for a few minutes. Few words, many dead. The speech is short, like a sentence. It doesn't end the war, it ends the old language. The South burns out. Cities empty. Fields turn into ledgers of death. Sherman's march isn't strategy. It's a preview of the future. War stops being a duel of armies. It becomes the destruction of environment. In 1864, you run again. Not because you want to, because stopping means collapse. The country's tired. It's ready to trade you for the illusion of peace. November 1864. You win. The Union holds together by formula, not by love. Votes are counted while soldiers are still dying. The 13th Amendment passes Congress in 1865. Slavery is closed, legally. No applause, like covering a pit too many already fell into. The old era no longer holds shape. The new one isn't assembled yet. You stand between them, like a beam about to be pulled out. You live to see victory, but not peace. April 1865.
The war formally ends. Gunfire fades faster than hatred. You speak of reconciliation, softly, dangerously softly. Too many people made money on blood to just stop. April 14th, 1865. Ford's Theater. A comedy. Laughter. You sit down because you're timed, because you think now it's allowed. The shot is short. No speech, no debate. History doesn't explain motives, it records the fact. The shooter's name is John Wilkes Booth, an actor, a man who confused the stage with the country. You die not as a symbol, as an administrator who didn't get to close the system. Reconstruction is left without an architect. Your body is carried through cities. People watch in silence.
Some cry this is only the beginning. You don't finish an era, you sever it, like a live wire under load. What remains after you is the Union, and a bill others will have to pay.